This was a nightmare. And I look at him sometimes and I say, Homer, I don't know how we got you back.
And I couldn't believe that Cove Soda hadn't replied to you guys as of yet. They don't want to boycott. That's ridiculous. So I looked up Cove Soda phone. I found number 902.
It's unlikely you'll find anyone who loves Donairs more than this guy. It's why they call him the Donair Beast.
I love Donairs. I eat them all the time.
You are listening to Keep Canada Weird.
Handsome Aaron Airport. Often in TV shows, when it's a really big episode, it's the season finale. I feel like this is kind of like a season finale of Keep Canada Weird. Do you feel an electricity in the air?
I feel I've been shook and shocked by this electricity. I'm anxious to get on with it. We've got serious business to handle tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. We got a lot to get into, which will include keeping Canada weird by seeking out and highlighting all the unique and offbeat stories that played out across the past week. And there have been some really interesting ones, so I'm excited for that. But let's just start things off here a little slow with the unveiling of our special drinks. And I think this is going to open Pandora's box. I just have a regular hot tea.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing fancy.
Yeah.
It's an orange pico tea. I got some milk and sweetener in it, but I'm going to take a drink, and I always love tea. What do you got?
I have just a drink of convenience tonight. I apologize.
That's all right.
I was leaving the theater tonight. I was in a show there tonight, and so I came running here to meet with you to record Keep Canada Weird, and I was starving. So I was like, well, it's going to be fast food tonight, and I ran through the Wendy's drive-thru in North Sydney, and with my drink, I did get a Sprite. So this Wendy's Sprite is my special drink tonight. It is not sugar-free, so I'm not going to drink all of it.
Yeah, don't go nuts now. We need to keep you here on planet Earth. We don't want you dying of sugar infestation. Let's pass the mic to a listener named Steph, who's going to share her special drink.
Hi, Jordan and Aaron. This is Steph from Littleton, Colorado in the States, and I have a special drink today that I'm going to share with you. It's our favorite zero sugar Cove Soda from lovely Nova Scotia. And I have the ice pop flavor, classic back to my 80s childhood. So I'm going to open it up here and take a sip. That's our littlest correspondent, Judah, there.
Oh.
That is delicious. Tastes just like my childhood.
Okay.
Judah in the background kind of freaked me out at first. I thought she took a drink of that Cove Soda and had completely lost her mind.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. She had just made a Cove noise, whatever that would be.
Well, that noise would maybe be the noise of anxiety because things haven't been well between Keep Canada Weird and Cove Soda. And this has been building up for several weeks. You said yourself last week, after writing them several emails, I wrote them emails, we've had listeners reach out. It's been radio silence from the team at Cove Soda. And you made, I think, the unprecedented step on this show is to announce that if things don't change by March 4th, it is both a ban and a boycott. A boycott on Keep Canada Weird staffers and listeners from buying Cove Soda, and a ban on mentioning the products on air. We still have some time between now and March 4th, but it has created this kind of uncertainty. When you see Cove Soda on the shelf right now, as a Keep Canada Weird purist, you're not sure what you're supposed to do. And that's why I want to play this little clip from a listener named Heather in the U.S., where I think she wasn't sure if she should buy it or not. And let's hear how that went.
Hi, this is Heather from North Carolina. I'm calling now about the Cove Soda thing. I believe somebody else had called and said they saw Cove Soda here in the U.S., but I think it was more up north. I can't remember where. Well, I actually saw Cove Soda at our Target here in North Carolina. Now, I didn't get it, but I saw it. So it's down here in the South. But I hope you guys get in touch with them, and I hope they acknowledge you because, that's pretty rude of them, I think.
So I think Cove Soda just lost out on probably selling a case of pop to Heather at Target down in southern U.S.
Yeah, the important thing here is, I think, the distinction between banning and boycott. So, yes, the reason the boycott is so important is because a banning just specifically relates to this show, whereas a boycott expands outside of this show and reaches out not only to the listeners, but anybody the listeners can tell not to buy Cove Soda if they don't get back to us. So that's what we're waiting to hear.
Yeah, and again, what this March 4th date has created is incredible uncertainty among all pop drinkers. But that brings us to our next segment here, and this is going to be a first for Keep Canada Weird. Of course, we have our correspondents who share news and stories and help us unpack and understand these stories. And, you know, they're very important to the show. We have the Keep Canada Weird Army, which is just everyone out there who supports the show. But we're going to now create a new level of supporter. We are going to have two correspondents who will ascend to knighthood due to their incredible act of loyalty and perseverance and support for all things Keep Canada Weird. Are you ready for me to begin the presentation?
Yeah, I've got a sword here because when you're knighted, you know, you get the sword on your shoulders there or whatever the ritual is. So I do have a full sword here.
You suggested it may be a good idea for more listeners to reach out to Cove and try to make something happen. Let me introduce you to our first knight of the Keep Canada Weird Army, Mr. Todd Scott. I got an email from Todd. He says, "Hey guys, a really long time listener here, and I got a Cove update. I reached out to the founder and 8 of the top Cove employees on LinkedIn. I even had to pay for a premium LinkedIn membership just for this cause. Below is the message I personalized and sent to each." And then he ends in all caps, "Let's go." Here's what he sent the founder and 8 of the senior Cove employees through LinkedIn. He says, "Hello, I wanted to reach out to you regarding the Keep Canada Weird podcast. These guys are genuine fans of Cove Soda and frequently open their episodes with a soda, and many times it's Cove. In fact, on their February 20th, 2026 episode, it opened with them talking about your brand yet again. They clearly love the product and speak about it authentically. This is a great opportunity for a grassroots partnership or even some sort of brand ambassador relationship. At the very least, it would be great to get the brand to acknowledge them and not let that kind of organic support fade." And then he ends with, "I'm just a fan of the show from Tennessee. I have no connection to them, but it's a genuine, but they're genuine, and love and outreach of Cove Soda is what the world needs more of. Take a look." And then he gives them the URL for our most recent episode.
Oh, good.
So what do you think of that? Did you expect that?
I was hoping for someone to step up out there and really go to bat for us and the Keep Canada Weird Army and everyone who's been listening to this drama building between us and Cove Soda. So yeah, Todd went above and beyond here, deserves the knighthood that they are receiving. And
will you put the sword to Knight Todd's shoulders?
Here you go. I am now to the left shoulder and to the right shoulder. I don't know if there's supposed to be a certain order, but that's the order I'm choosing. And yeah, welcome to the knighthood of Keep Canada Weird. Todd, thank you.
Now let me introduce you to a listener named Sean. Sean sent in a voicemail to tell us about his advocacy work.
Hello, Aaron Airport and Jordan Bus Stop Bonaparte. This is Vancouver Sean. I was just listening to your episode. It's February 24th. And I couldn't believe that Cove Soda hadn't replied to you guys as of yet. They don't want to boycott. That's ridiculous. So I looked up on the internet, Cove Soda phone. I found number 902, left a voicemail, and 10 minutes later got a call back from a very nice guy named Ryan. Seems like a very small business, and asked me about Cove Soda, told me where I can get it here, and said that he had someone who did reply to you. So he seemed to think that somebody was on it. Hopefully he'll follow up and everything will be okay, because I'd like your relationship with Cove to flourish. All right. Keep Canada Weird. Speaking to you soon. Bye-bye.
Aaron, do you want to put the sword to Sean's shoulders?
Absolutely, because Sean really dug in deep there, really went behind enemy lines to actually speak to somebody on the phone, call, leave voicemails, communicate verbally with somebody. So, you know, Cove was getting it from every angle here. So this is, I knew we could trust the Keep Canada Weird Nation and Army and the listeners, and they really pulled through. Sean, my sword to your shoulders, the right and the left or the right, whatever you want. And I appreciate the work, and not just from Sean and Todd, but every listener that tried to write to Cove or even just thought of writing to Cove but didn't get around to it.
That counts.
I'd like to salute you as well.
Sean and Todd, we're proud to have you as the first knights in the Keep Canada Weird Army. So the big question here, the elephant in the room, is, Aaron, did all of this end in any result? Are we ready to call off the boycott? Have we heard from Cove Soda? I can answer one of those questions. Just last night, as the clock was creeping towards midnight, I did get an email that surprised me. Subject, we want to send you Cove. The body of the email says, we're big fans of your podcast and absolutely love what you're building. We'd be so excited to send you some Cove Soda to sip on for your recording sessions or whenever you need a little refresh. No pressure at all. We think you genuinely enjoy it and would love to get it in your hands. If you're open to it, send over the shipping address and we'll get a package headed your way.
The end.
The end. Is this enough?
Well, how confident are we that this is not a hoax?
It came from a URL, like it was like a person's name at like covesoda.ca or whatever. So I'm fairly certain, but it does kind of have a bit of a feeling of like a form email though. So I wonder if they know what we're doing, and I don't know if they know what's at stake, but I haven't received any package yet.
And they didn't request to not be boycotted in the email. So, I mean, I'm a little hesitant to, I think it's something. It's a start. It's something from Cove. But after the damage that has been done, am I going to call off the boycott?
I have an idea for you. Actually, a correspondent named Lilovich has an idea for you.
Hi, Jordan and Aaron. I was just listening to the latest episode and the talk about banning or boycotting of Cove Soda because they have not reached out, and that you're going to give them another 2 weeks till the 4th of March to respond before the official banning takes place. And I was thinking to myself, I totally understand this thinking, but wouldn't it be great to extend that to the 15th of March? So then, therefore, you could say to the Cove Soda, beware the Ides of March. Anyway, love the show. Thanks.
Anything you want to say to Cove Soda, Aaron?
Certainly there are times where I feel like with my relationship with Cove Soda, our relationship is a lot like Julius Caesar and Brutus. So where Cove is Brutus and they stab us in the back. Yeah,
because you were enjoying drinking it. You sent the email. Then when the next morning when you looked and you didn't get a response, you're like, tu, Brute.
tu, Cove Soda.
So tell them, are you? Well, can we extend this to the Ides of March? That'll give time for this package to arrive. We'll see if this is a hoax or not.
No, I can't say that it should be extended. I think the boycott is still set for March 4th.
Okay.
If we don't get what we need from Cove Soda. So if the soda does show up by March 4th, that could stop the boycott.
You better send it express, Cove.
Yeah, you better contact Purelator and beg for mercy.
So the story of what's happening with Cove Soda seems to be maybe a part of a beginning rather than an end if all things go as planned. So let's transition to another story that I think is going to be an end to something we've been covering. And this is surprising. I didn't expect to be talking about the Taco Bell in Mount Pearl, Newfoundland at the beginning of episode 203 on top of everything that's going on with Cove. But let me read you the latest update in this, and this is a big one. It looks like Mount Pearl's great Taco Bell traffic battle has finally been digested. After months of drive-through lineups, complaints, and ultimately court applications, we've all been waiting to learn what's next, and now we have it. Thompson and his group have officially dropped their legal action against the city over the Taco Bell drive-through. Thompson says a steady decline in traffic has prompted him to pause any further legal action. But that said, the story isn't completely cooked. A serious Valentine's Day motor vehicle accident just outside the restaurant is still under investigation, and questions are up in the air about whether the drive-through lineup was the cause of the accident. But all this to say, Rod Thompson dropped the case, and the lineups finally, after 2 months, seem to be dying down.
Yeah, and that was something that we expected to happen eventually, and I was curious how that was going to affect the momentum of any legal action, because if the traffic congestion eased, then certainly it would be a tough thing to fight in court, I think, because
it'd be pointless at that
the
point.
problem would be fixed.
Yeah, he's arguing you need to enforce this, and if it's not there to enforce anymore, what's the point? But I think it just shows this Rod Thompson guy's quest, his journey, was for all the right reasons. He just wanted to get this problem fixed, and now that the problem seems to be dying down, he's like, I'm not going to waste any more time on these Taco Bell clowns or the Mount Pearl clowns. I'm proud that he stood his ground, because I bet you the city of Mount Pearl was not ready for this when he actually filed it, gets the Taco Bell files, is putting a case together, a judge is taking him seriously. I didn't get too deep into it in that article, but like I said, there was a pretty serious car accident that involved people going to hospital and everything right outside the Taco Bell on Valentine's Day. A lot of people will be going out to eat on Valentine's Day. I would be surprised if the lineup there is not connected. So, if something else pops up about this, we'll pick up this story. But for now, Rod Thompson's put it to bed.
You would think of all days, though, for the traffic to ease up, even just for a day, it would be Valentine's Day, because normally on Valentine's Day, if you're going out to eat, you're going to a nice restaurant, you're going somewhere that is romantic. And certainly, although I enjoy Taco Bell, it is not somewhere that I would go with a lover.
That is true.
On Valentine's Day, because there's nothing romantic about what happens later on after you've had Taco Bell.
Let that be the ad for Taco Bell. For most.
I should clarify, for most.
Okay. We've had a big introduction here, but that's because we had a lot to get into. We're so excited about the future of the show. Things are really looking up for us. So let's take a quick break and get on with the celebration by unpacking the week's weird news stories. As we just talked about Taco Bell and the long lineups, the amount of time you spend in a lineup, our first collection of stories will involve the passage of time. We'll get into some stories about the passage of time after this short break. Handsome Aaron Airport. We have one of those exciting two-part stories, a story that has a beginning and a definitive end by way of a follow-up. I always enjoy when we get into this. The story starts on November 28th in Quebec. A couple went public with a desperate plea after their 11-year-old Yorkshire Terrier named Homer vanished in Montreal. At the time, they believed he was abducted and feared the worst as he didn't have his medication. Here's the beginning of the mysterious disappearance of Homer the dog.
Homer's family has been looking for him for more than 2 weeks.
He's a beautiful little dog. He loves his home. He loved us.
Isabel Pinsky says her 11-year-old mixed-breed Yorkshire Terrier, Homer, got out of her husband's parked car on November 12th near St. Kevin and Victoria in the Snowdon area.
He's going to die without the proper medication because he has liver disease.
Pinsky's daughter, Nancy Spielberg, came in from Toronto to help with the search.
A witness saw a woman by Mackenzie King Park take the dog's leash and walk toward St. Catharines subway.
They filed a complaint with the Montreal police saying the dog has been abducted and hope whoever has Homer will return him.
I'm pleading with you, please. Just go to the SPCA. Give the dog back.
Keeping up hope, their search continues with posters put up in the area and a social media blitz, which led to another problem. Spielberg says she was repeatedly contacted by someone who said they had the dog, offering no proof.
Suggested that I send him $350 by e-transfer, and I said, no, I'm not sending you any money till I see the dog.
She filed a second complaint with the police. CTV spoke to the SPVM, who acknowledges it's looking into 2 potential cases, one for possible abduction, the other for alleged extortion.
I will not press charges to the people that have the dog. Just give it back to us.
Homer is microchipped and therefore identifiable.
This is a nightmare.
Oh, there was maybe a time where I could have found like a drop of humor in like the presentation of that. But as a dog owner myself, I've brought it up. I think I've mentioned on the show that I have a sweet little girl here named Penny, who's the absolute love of my life. There are days where I don't get work done on editing and stuff because I just lay on the couch just kissing her nose, scratching behind her ear, and just telling her, like, Penny, I love you so much. And her foolish eyes just staring to me, and I think she knows what I'm saying. But anyway, with this lady, I feel a bit of her pain because I couldn't imagine what would happen to me if my little girl went missing, let alone me thinking someone abducted her.
Maybe put the brakes on the penny talk for a while.
Is it getting weird?
It's getting a little gross, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I get caught up in it.
Yeah. So anyway, this is a sad story. You don't have to be a dog owner. Any pet owner is this is gonna pull at their heartstrings because I can't imagine, with my cat Ken, I can't imagine if he got lost or was stolen, abducted. I don't know what that's what I was imagining when I first was watching this story. I was like, oh my God, like that would be me on the news, like crying and begging for anybody to bring Ken home. Like that's what I'd be doing. So the dog jumps out of the car when her husband had the dog somewhere. They must have like asked around, did anyone see a dog? They found a witness who said, I saw a lady with a little dog on a leash going towards the subway, which seems to be what led to the theory of the abduction. But this is so serious that this is all happening in Montreal. The dog owner's kid, who is appearing on the news with her, who's her adult daughter, comes to Montreal from Toronto to support her mother during the search. And I get that. Like when you have an animal, it feels like your kid. I've only had Penny for like 7 or 8 months, but I feel that kind of connection to her that I'd just be devastated if something happened. So I relate to this big time. But I said this story in this segment of the show is going to be about stories involving the passage of time. So let's get to the update on this one. So what we just heard, that news clip was from November 28th. 80 days later, almost to the day, we had the update that we've all been waiting for.
This was a nightmare. And I look at him sometimes and I say, Homer, I don't know how we got you back.
It's a mystery that's being described as unbelievable. After 80 long days.
You look happy.
I'm thrilled.
Homer, the 11-year-old Yorkshire Terrier mix, is back in the loving arms of his owner, Isabel Pinsky.
He came home, he was scared, he was shivering.
Homer was first reported missing in November. According to the owners, the pup managed to escape their custody in the Snowdon area. That's where Pinsky claims the dog was abducted.
We used to drive up every single day, up and down Lovewell, the Gary, all the streets looking for him. To go know that he's in the other end of the city.
Dropped off at a nearby shelter in January, some 16 kilometers away from where he was last seen, Homer was found on the street by a bystander.
It's real that microchip makes the difference to find back the owner.
Identified by his chip, Homer was underweight, but in good health, according to veterinary staff.
Making a difference in the life of citizens of Montreal or the Saskatchewan of Montreal is really something that is pleasing our team, and it's really warm, heartwarming.
He's a good walker now.
Back to their daily walks, Pinsky says while many questions remain unanswered, she would like to thank the Good Samaritan who helped her dog on its homeward bound journey.
I have to meet with that person because they saved his life.
As for Homer, after his stressful adventure, he's on his way to the groomer for a much-needed spa day.
That was heartwarming. That Yorkshire Terrier has a great life. That woman is adorable, and she loves that dog.
Yeah, she's awesome. Her dog's awesome. I'm wondering, though, how did the dog survive without its medication?
Yeah, maybe they said the dog had a liver disease. Maybe it's not as bad as they thought.
Yeah, 80 days, you would think
But maybe the liver disease would have progressed, but not like killed the dog. And they did say the dog was underweight, so maybe things were starting to turn bad. Maybe it happened just in time.
Maybe she certainly put it in the first story where the dog had just been lost. She put a lot of urgency onto the fact that he needs his medication. He's going to die, please.
She's desperate. She was desperate, and she just didn't want that outcome to happen.
Now that we know the dog is home safe, we can kind of play around with the story a bit.
Okay.
You think she fudged? Do you think she bended the truth a little bit to the urgency of the medication in the first story to heighten people's ambition to find the dog?
Well, let me ask you, would you blame her if she did?
Of course not. No, I fully support it, but I'm just wondering what you think.
No, I don't think she intentionally did it. I think she was just thinking, like she was probably panicking about all the things that could go wrong. I'm like, oh my God, his medication, he has a liver problem, like he needs his medication, he takes it every day. And a lot of medications that you take, every day, it's kind of to control symptoms and to keep things balanced and in check. So maybe she didn't realize that, like, if he misses the medicine for 80 days, he's not going to die, but he's going to start losing weight and this disease is going to progress. I don't think she intentionally did that. I think she was just putting it out there that this is a problem. I don't think she did anything wrong. In fact, I think she went so far beyond what most dog owners would do, and she did it out of love. I'm glad she got that dog back. And the two of them are adorable. I love when people look like their dogs, and she kind of looks a bit like a terrier. She had like this big kind of fluffy hair, and then every time it would show Homer, just the way the hair was on his face, I'm like, those two look alike.
So you're saying she looks like a dog?
I think she looks like a sweet lady who should be going to get ice cream. That's I think she'd enjoy some. She's adorable. Homer's adorable. I love a feel-good, happy ending dog story, but there's still the mystery at play here. Where was Homer?
Yeah.
I don't think he was abducted.
No, it doesn't seem like it, unless he was abducted and then released just out into the streets.
And it was, I think they said it was like 15 or 20 kilometers away where they found him. It's a good amount of distance. I can't imagine a terrier would go that far. You would think if the dog jumped out of the car and just ran off into a bush or whatever, it wouldn't travel 15 kilometers, even in 80 days. You'd think it would just kind of stay around that same area. So that's a little weird. And what else is weird? Maybe just a big coincidence. The first article that we listened to, it ended by saying, almost as an addendum, like it ends at the very end, there's this moment where they say, Homer has been chipped so he can be traced. And it turns out that that's what ended up leading them to find him, the fact that he had this chip. Like, I just thought that was a weird coincidence.
So you think maybe the company that makes these chips that are embedded into our animals stole or abducted this dog on purpose in order to play out this scenario where the dog is lost and then the dog is found and identified with a chip that they make. So that it then promotes their chip company.
I think you call that a false flag.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say if so, that lady is the best crisis actor they've ever hired.
No. I don't think the lady is involved. I think she's sincere. I think the company stole her, abducted her dog.
And planted the story in the media and kind of massaged it to lean on the fact that they had a chip. It's an interesting theory. Without strong evidence, I'm not going to jump to a conclusion like that. I think it's just a coincidence of microchips and wandering dogs. I'm glad it has a happy ending, but let's move on to another story involving the passage of time. This one has to do with a parking ticket, but I don't want to read it. I've been reading too much tonight. Can you or anyone else at your compound get this?
Yeah, I'll get the newsboy. I had gotten him some Wendy's as well, so he ate a Baconator actually. Yeah. He's like, well, we don't have those in the 1930s. Here he comes. Extra, read all about it. Ron Klicka parked in the wrong spot in 1987 and thought he got away with it. On December 7th, 1987, Ron Klicka illegally parked near a train station in Guelph, Ontario. Nearly 4 decades later, that decision caught up with him. On January 20th, 2026, Klicka received what the city of Guelph described as a final notice demanding payment for an outstanding parking ticket dated 1987. The letter warned that the fine could increase if it wasn't paid. Klicka, who now lives near Ottawa but lived in Guelph during the 1980s, says he was stunned when he opened the envelope. He assumed it must be a mistake, especially after seeing the offense date. But when he called the city's provincial offenses office, staff confirmed the ticket was legitimate. He owed $24.50. So he paid it. With a $10 late fee added, the total came to $34.50. Klicka says he doesn't remember ever receiving the ticket. He suspects it may have fallen off of his windshield or possibly been removed. He also moved out of Guelph for a period of time, which may have complicated efforts to collect. What makes the story even stranger is that the unpaid fine never surfaced when he renewed his license plates or his driver's license over the years, something that normally flags outstanding tickets. According to Amy Roca, supervisor of financial operations for legal and court services with the city of Guelph, every effort is made to collect court-ordered fines regardless of their age. Roca says Guelph currently has approximately $12 million worth of unpaid fines on its books. A city can use third-party collections agencies, add fines to property taxes, or pursue court action, though those options can be costly and resource-intensive. As for Klicka, he says he was surprised a $24.50 ticket could linger for nearly 40 years, and equally surprised by how much money municipalities are owed in unpaid fines overall. The story serves as proof that sometimes the long arm of municipal law has incredible patience.
Mm-hmm. In the article, it mentioned there they could go after your property taxes or send you to a collection agency, and that could be resource intensive. I think for a ticket of this value, $24.50 plus the $10 late fee, bringing it to $34.50. Even that, if it involved sending the letter to this guy, answering his phone call when he called the office, like that alone probably took up, the majority of this ticket. I'm surprised they would go for it. If they have all of these unpaid tickets, say there's $12 million of unpaid tickets, and the municipality says, you know what, let's go after them and see if we can get them. You'd think they'd start with the people who owe hundreds or thousands of dollars, not the $34 ticket. It's just not worth anybody's time.
Well, yeah, it's probably just a system is just generating these letters, generating these responses, sending them out. I don't think the system is really caring if one is $24 or one is $1,000. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm surprised that there's not interest that compounds on things like this. Because certainly, like with the government, with the CRA in Canada, if you owe taxes over several years, interest is accumulating on that balance owing over all those years, right? So,
But I wonder if they would need to make a case, like prove that they notified him of this and all this. Because if they drop the ball, not notifying him sooner or having it flag on his license and registration renewals, he'd probably be able to get out of that. Like it'd be easy to make a case for like, I had no idea I owed these guys $24 from 40 years ago.
Yeah. Maybe there's some legalities to that. I don't know. I don't work within that system. So, and I like to rip up parking tickets and ignore them. So,
well, it is a kind of a precarious way to deliver a fine. They just take a little piece of paper, thin paper, and it's an odd shape. It's like long and skinny. They stick it under your windshield and, hope you see it.
Yeah. You need to look me dead in the eyes when you're issuing a fine to me.
I've never gotten a parking ticket in my life.
I did, yeah. In Halifax, I parked what this parking officer deemed as a little too over the edge into into a bus, lane thing, where the bus pulls over and.
Yeah. You paid it though.
Yeah, I think it came up on my taxes maybe or something, or there was some kind of thing it came up on, and I eventually paid it. But
yeah, I've never got a parking ticket. The interesting fine I got was, and it was expensive. I think it was like $400. I got a fine for illegally crossing a CN rail line. I lived in this apartment building.
Wow.
I don't know if you know this story. I lived in an apartment building, and in like the back of our apartment building was like this big fenced off area where a train line, like railway tracks, passed. And on the other side of the railway tracks was like a Walmart and a Tim Hortons. And what would always happen is people would cut holes in the fence so they could cross the tracks and go to the Tim Hortons and the Walmart that was right there, rather than walking the much longer distance around the tracks. And I had no idea that it was like this big deal. The fence was cut, and I just walked through the little track one day, and then there was this thing that looked like a police car, but it was like a CN, Canadian National Railway officer guy, and he like stopped me and a friend, shout out to Sam, and asked us our names. And I wasn't trying to hide anything because I didn't think I did anything wrong. I told him my name, gave him my license, and then he wrote me a ticket, I think for like $400. And I ended up having to pay it.
Wow. $400. That's a doozy.
Easy come, easy go. Actually, it probably wasn't easy come. I probably had to work long hours and a horrible job to get that money. Yeah. But anyway, these are two interesting stories of the passage of time. Let's move on now to two WTF, bizarre, unusual Canadian news stories. These ones get heavy. And I'm glad you have already eaten fast food, because the first one that we're going to start with may make you hungry. Let's take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to hear about the Donair Evangelist, a.k.a. the Donair Beast. Handsome Aaron Airport, I want to introduce you to someone. A Dartmouth man known locally as the Donair Beast has made it his life's mission to take Halifax's official food global. And yes, this guy is completely serious about it. Here's the story of the Donair Evangelist.
Extra crispy, cheese on it, works. Sauce on the side, please.
It's unlikely you'll find anyone who loves Donairs more than this guy. It's why they call him the Donair Beast.
I love Donairs. I eat them all the time. And I think Donairs should have a world platform. You got to add some sauce. Lots of sauce. Don't be scared.
He's had about 5,000 Donairs in his lifetime and has made it his mission to get even the toughest food critics on the Donair train.
They are what's known as a wet sandwich. I know it doesn't sound the most, the best, but they are actually delicious. There's nothing better than a Donair at 2 a.m. After you've had a couple beers, especially in Dartmouth or Halifax.
He wants the world to know about Halifax's iconic dish, starring in his own Donair documentary set to be released next year.
What people can expect with this documentary is absolute everything you need to know about a Donair. The story, where it came from, who made it, who taught people how to make it.
In the meantime, he's keeping the spotlight here at home, where a Donair Fest in downtown Dartmouth will bring 4 popular Donair spots under one roof.
They're all going head-to-head Saturday, February 28th, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Absolutely delicious, like nothing else you've ever smelled in your life. We need to get this out to the world. I think the whole world should know what a Donair is and should taste a Donair and make their own Donair.
Do you support that kind of thing?
Not really, no. I
like
don't.
What he's doing?
I don't at all. The more I think about it, the less I support
Why
it.
was he even on the news? Is it because of the documentary this guy's making? And I think it's self-produced. Like, I think it's a documentary that he's filming and starring in about Donairs. And then he's also organizing this Donair competition in Dartmouth.
Yeah. It seems like he's just... And he's like, it'll be interesting. I wish people could people are only listening to this, but if you could Google the news coverage of this story and watch the guy eating a Donair, in the news coverage. It's disgusting. And the amount of sauce he puts on it, like he covers it in sauce. It's like, I don't think you like the taste of Donair. Like you're just putting all that sauce on. All you're tasting is sauce, but I don't know. It's just, it is. I mean, I like Donairs. I don't eat them very much. I mean, I have one maybe every couple of years or something.
Yeah, this guy's had 5,000. That's way too many Donairs for anybody.
No, he needs to talk to his family doctor and he needs to consult with a medical professional over these choices he's making. He's quickly killing himself. And I think it's gross. The whole thing's gross. Yeah.
I enjoy his passion. I'll say that. And if this documentary, I don't know what the name, if they've released the name of it, but if this documentary ever sees the light of day, I will watch it more so as like an art curiosity piece rather than to understand the history of Donairs, which I bet you aren't that interesting. Like, I don't think it has this storied history. We've talked about Donairs on the show before, and I recall getting voicemails from listeners who were letting us know that they have them there and where they're from, but they call them Donairs or something. But I don't want to get into the history of Donairs. The big thing to say is that Halifax prides itself on being like the home of the Donair, which for people who are unfamiliar, it's like a pita. You have this kind of shaved meat that I think is like a beef pork mix with spices in it. You put maybe a bit of onions or lettuce or hot peppers, and then there's this sweet sauce that I think is like condensed milk and vinegar or something. But they're kind of a late night staple. Someone may grab a slice of pizza, somebody else may grab a Donair. It's a thing here that is celebrated by many. Will you watch the Donair documentary if it hits YouTube, I guess?
No. In fact, I'm starting a boycott on this Donair documentary. I think no one wants to see this. If you want to eat a Donair, go out and eat one. But my God, this is too much.
Let's move away from it then. We'll move on to our final Keep Canada weird news story from the past week. It's the story of another bizarre theft. You had the newsboy read one. I'll take this one on. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
For listeners of Keep Canada Weird, unusual thefts aren't only par for the course. It's like its own extended cinematic universe. From a copper Amelia Earhart statue to the prolific butter thefts and even the case of a missing horse's tail. However, this theft that we'll be discussing tonight is the most ambitious yet. On January 27th of 2026, in the rural municipality of Key West, which is about 96 kilometers southwest of Regina, Saskatchewan, residents experienced a power outage that lasted approximately 2 hours as Sask power crews worked to restore service. This restoration work ended up including a call to the RCMP when the crews realized that an energized and connected power pole was missing. According to Constable Gary Christopher, there were clear signs that a pole had been dragged through the farmyard and across a nearby field before being loaded into a vehicle. Tire tracks in the field indicated erratic driving, but once the vehicle reached the road, the tracks were no longer visible. RCMP believed that the theft may be linked to copper, as metal thefts are not uncommon. However, the theft of the entire pole and the transformer, paired with the significant danger involved in dealing with live wires, is unheard of. With a population of just 251 people and a density of 0.3 residents per square kilometer, the municipality has very limited surveillance and no witnesses have come forward. This investigation remains ongoing and police continue to search for answers as well as for a literal power pole. Who the hell would do this?
Well, someone who really wants the copper. It's like every time there's a theft of some kind and it's a weird thing and you're wondering, why would they steal that? It's usually because there's copper in it and they want the copper and they're just thirsty for the copper.
Yeah, but why steal the pole? Like, it seems like, you know, if there's copper, maybe there's copper in like that transformer thing that's connected to the pole and there'd be copper in the wires. But it seems like cutting down, there's a massive pole and stealing that would just make it so much harder. Even like to cut down the pole, then pull the stuff off it that you want and throw that in your truck. But to actually drag the pole out of there, when you see the power trucks like coming to like set up poles and stuff, they have specialized trucks to carry this stuff. Does someone have that in Saskatchewan where they're going around stealing telephone poles?
Yeah, someone's got it, obviously. So that's what happened. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's some kind of specific reason that you and I, being people who have never stolen copper or the tops of telephone poles before, don't understand some of the complications that might come along with that. So somebody who does decided that, you know what, it's easier just to steal the whole thing. So then they cut the pole down, threw it into whatever vehicle that they had to carry it, or they dragged it, or whatever it was, and off they were, and they got the job done, and they got their copper, I assume. So,
And the pole
yeah.
probably has some value. It is a big thing of wood, but I think it's treated with like this kind of tar or oil and stuff. So I don't think you could use it for typical wood stuff.
No, you can't just burn it.
No, because it would be like a power pole. They put some kind of stuff on it to prevent it from like rotting. That's why it's
Okay.
if you ever get up to a power pole and touch it, that's usually like a little like sticky and stuff. Like I don't know what they soak it in or do with it, but it is treated with something that you wouldn't want to burn it. You couldn't use it for woodworking. I guess you could use it in like maybe like a retaining wall or something, or use it in on your
Yeah.
property in some capacity.
Yeah, they probably were like, I could use that pole as well. So why don't we, two birds, one pole?
It is a weird theft, though. And it is, as I said in reading the article, the theft of unusual stuff in Canada, in the way we covered on the show, it's almost like its own cinematic universe. Like we keep hearing of some bizarre theft that just tops the one we talked about prior. Can you think of any that I missed? So we had the theft of butter, the Amelia Earhart statue, the horse's tail that was cut. We have the pole now. Can you think of any others? Because I know there's been a
The
ton.
butter tarts.
Oh yes, they broke into the restaurant, stole the butter tarts
It
after
was
hours.
the
Yeah,
bakery. They were walking by at 3 o'clock in the morning, and
yeah, good memory. That's probably going back about 100 episodes.
that's going back maybe more than that. Actually, that's an early one. That's one that I always enjoyed.
Yeah, that was a good one. But let's go back to something else. We don't have to go back that far. Let's go back to episode 202. We heard the story about the Oshawa Generals hockey team who ended up who first sent an email to all the season tickets holders asking them to get showers before coming to the arena. There was some pushback or blowback or whatever we want to call it, and that led to them apologizing. We have a listener named Alicia who wants to weigh in on the stinky hockey fans story because Alicia used to work at a gym and she's kind of experienced things like this before.
Hi, Jordan and Aaron, or as we refer to in my house, the Buys. It's your Alberta correspondent, Alicia here. I'm just listening to the new episode and about the whole hockey email smelly situation, and it brought me right back to a memory that I completely forgot about. Years ago, I mean, maybe like 14, 13 years ago when I was young, I worked at a gym. Like worked at a desk, like, checking people in when they come in, that kind of thing, selling memberships. There was a guy who would come in and the body odor was the worst I've ever smelled in my life, to the point like other customers would come up and complain. Us as staff were like, what the hell are we going to do? And I remember we talked to the owner about it, like basically like saying like something's got to be done, like there's your other customers are complaining. And she refused to do anything about it. And I really felt at the time in that case like maybe you could send a letter, kind of like these guys sent a letter, but to him only, and he would just think everybody who had a membership got one. But what I find really strange about this story is how it's arena full of people. Like, this is not a one-person issue. That makes me wonder, like, how bad was the smell, and was it even coming from a person? I don't know, but it sounds super bizarre, and I would also find it really strange getting that letter. But yeah, anyway, That's my 2 cents.
I like the idea of sending a letter just to the stinky guy, but writing it as if it went to everyone in the gym.
Yeah. But she's right as to why the hockey arena is different, is because it is going out to everybody, leading us to believe that there's more than one person who stinks in this arena.
Which I think says more about Oshawa in general than it does to any specific person that was there.
Those are your words, not mine. I am certainly not insinuating that the entire town of Oshawa reeks like the sulfur depths of hell.
Like a rotten Donair?
Yeah. Like that guy's apartment probably smells like after he's done editing his Donair documentary.
I don't even want to think about that. We've gone through a lot tonight. We had some great weird news stories. We put the bow on the Taco Bell Mount Pearl, Newfoundland story, and we have blown the doors wide open on Cove Soda Gate. Is there anything else we should do tonight, or is this more than people bargained for?
People got more than they bargained for tonight. Let's shut it down. We've jam-packed it tonight. This is the Baconator of Keep Canada Weird episodes.
Handsome Aaron Airport, until next time.
Jordan, bus stop, backhoe, Bonaparte, until next time.
Let's watch as the clock ticks for Cove Soda. I'll be checking the Keep Canada Weird mailbox every morning for a package, and as soon as it shows up, if it shows up, I will call you, and I'll be an exasperated, excited mess, and I can't wait to make that call.
And Jordan, until next time, Cove Soda, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
No one has to lose any jobs over this. I don't want Cove Soda to fall.
Come correct, Cove Soda. Come correct.
I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. Now, if any one of you listening want to get more involved in what we're doing, we need all the correspondence we can get. So if something weird happens in your area, or if you have any thoughts on anything we discussed tonight, let us know about it. The best way to reach us is by using the voice recorder that can be found at thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Now, I'm going to start wrapping up the episode, but before we part, let us thank a few people. First of all, Aaron and I want to give a big thank you to all the correspondents who contributed to this episode. If your voice message was aired on the show, go back to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and fill out the form to claim your swag pack and Keep Canada Weird badge. We'll happily get it right out to you. Next, a big shout out to Unicole for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data, who provides the outro version of O Canada that you're about to hear. And then lastly, but most importantly, we have a massive thank you to every one of you listening, as without your interest and your support, this work would be impossible. And for any one of you out there who want to support the show financially and get more out of the show at the same time, please consider the premium feed. Our premium feed subscription costs just a couple bucks a month, and that money will fund the creation of new episodes, but the premium feed will also give you those episodes early, give them to you ad-free, and give you access to a full back catalog of Keep Canada Weird episodes and bonuses. You can go premium at thecanadiangothic.com/subscribe. And even if the premium feed isn't for you, you can still support the show by simply sharing episodes on social media. That's free, and it's a big help. So until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and please keep Canada weird.
And keep Canada weird. Please keep Canada weird.